2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Woodville or download the Revo Fitness app, revofitness.com.au, or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
This is Shaun Sport in podcast form.
Righto, we're heading over to Tullamarine to catch up with Jeremy McGovern, our champion West Coast Eagle.
Live from the lounge.
Gov, come in.
How are we?
Were you in the Qantas Lounge this morning?
No, I'm in the Virgin.
Virgin, yes. Of course.
Yeah, not quite as good as the Qantas Lounge, I must admit, but still nice.
What's surrounding you at the moment? Do you have to have like a quieter voice because like you don't want to know people to know you're doing like a live radio interview?
Yeah, I just don't want everyone staring at me randomly.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that guy.
You got your work voice on. This is what the voice we hear when people call us from
It's
work.
the inside voice too, yeah.
Yeah.
So, Gov, give us the rundown over what's happened over the last couple of days with you.
Obviously, I've come over to Melbourne for that panel, which I had last night, and pretty much, just a lot of questions, a lot of answering a lot of questions and going over a fair bit of stuff, and then, they're got to look to come up with a formal opinion, I think it is in the next week or so. So, that's all done now, and now it's just to wait to see what they think.
So they've gathered all the information off the club doctor, and they're going over your history, so they've got all this stuff in front of them before they come up with their assessment of what the future looks like.
Yeah, pretty much. That sums it up pretty well, Shaun. It's, a bit of history, a bit of how I'm going now, a bit of everything, and just, I think the main reason is just to make sure that my health's all good and head's all sweet, and then from there, they can make a decision.
Do they ask you questions in a way that they need to see how you're operating at the moment? And do you get a chance to kind of push your case forward that you would like to continue?
It's pretty informal, really. It wasn't like I was sitting there and getting bombarded and questions, and everything I said was getting frigging analysed, I guess.
Yeah.
It was more just an open conversation and talking about a few things and getting some a bit more clarity on injuries in general, as well as head and everything else. So there's a lot of questions, a lot of things to try and remember. But all in all, I think the AFL's doing everything they can to make sure that I'm all good.
Yep. How long did it go for, Gov?
It's a couple of hours last night.
That's a lot. That's a lot of feeling like you're under scrutiny, isn't it?
Yeah.
It was a little bit like that, but. No, it was all good. Everyone was really nice, and they made it pretty comfortable, so it was all sweet. They
didn't randomly throw things at you to see if your reflexes were all okay.
Threw a ball at him randomly just to see if you could
juggle these ones. What was your...
it was like dodgeball.
Gav, what was your gut call on how it went from your point of view?
To be honest, I still don't know. I felt like everything went okay, but that's not really up to me at the end of the day.
It's a really weird job interview vibe, isn't it?
Anti-job interview vibe almost.
Yeah, it's very, very much like that.
Gov, how are you feeling about it as the time has gone by? Is it become easier to think, okay, maybe if it all has to finish, then that's okay? Or are you getting more anxious that it's dragged out and therefore don't have an answer?
No, I'm not really getting too anxious. I think the space and everything and the landscape of AFL and obviously the head injuries and stuff. I understand. I can understand why it's taking a little bit of time, but obviously anxious that if they might have played me last game for sure. But until that sort of happens, then I don't want to try to worry about it too much. But,
sure.
A little bit anxious and stuff, but. At the same time, I respect what's going on and understand what's going on.
Geez, you've been a good player for the West Coast Eagles. When I reflect on your career, Gov, and where you've come from.
How many All Australians?
Shut me out like that, Shawnee, have you?
Yeah.
No, I'm not winding you up, but because the West Coast Eagles people go, I hope Jeremy McGovern's out and stuff like that. I hope he can play again.
Yeah.
And then you think about how good you've been and where you've come from when you're playing at Claremont. I know a couple of my mates who were down at Claremont, they were pushing your barrow because you're a football player, essentially, and people were looking at you in a different light, and maybe because you played country footy. But you've shown that, above all, you're better than anyone at playing that position.
And a premiership player, and, we all remember that passage of play that ended in Dom Sheed kicking a goal, started with you taking the intercept mark, with broken ribs, by the way. Keeping your feet and,
That was an amazing sequence of play, but over a long period of time, Nat, to be in a position where you, as an individual, opposition teams, and I know my time at Fremantle, where they have to go, how are we going to get the ball around him? Yeah. That's the impact he's had. Gov?
No, I appreciate it. Thanks, guys. You're making me tear up over it.
Sean's eulogising you already.
I am.
It's nice. It's been a fair bit of reflection. So, hopefully...
there's more to come.
Hopefully more to reflect on, but, time will tell.
Righto, the West Coast Eagles are taking on Carlton, which is not going to be no easy feat at home on Sunday. Tom McCarthy looks like he's in to replace Tom Cole. Yeah. This is great, and I've only seen the guy's highlights, and he looks like he can
Everybody
play.
looks good in their highlights, but it's exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. Obviously, flattening for Tommy Cole with the little hammy, but with
kicking too many goals, that's his problem.
I said to mate, you stop. But with that obviously opportunity comes. So it's good to see young Tommy McCarthy get a run, and so far at the club he's looked really sharp. His highlights look really, really good. And then now he's got an opportunity for the weekend. So hopefully he can bring that highlight package out all weekend for us. Would be nice.
I've got no doubt he can play.
I'm excited by him.
And really, it weirds me out that players like him are playing in the local competition.
Have sort of slipped under the radar until now, I
always mentioned to Lee Spur because when he got drafted by the Dockers, they showed his highlights thing, and I was in a recruiting meeting, and I'm like,
why didn't we get this guy before?
Are you joking? This guy's unreal. What's taking so long?
I know.
Anyway, good luck to the West Coast Eagles.
Better let you catch your plane.
Yeah, definitely go.
We'll talk
Thanks,
soon.
Guys.
Cheers, buddy.
Good day, buddy.
Shaun Sport in podcast form.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, Reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Woodville or download the Revo Fitness app, revofitness.com.au, or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.
North Melbourne have been in town for a couple of weeks, as we know, took care of the West Coast Eagles down in Bunbury, their new home ground. And, of course, at Optus Stadium, they're up against the Fremantle Dockers tomorrow. Superstar Harry Sheezel joins us for a bit of a chat. How you going, Harry?
Yeah, good, thanks, Shaun. Thanks for having me on.
Morning, Harry.
Have you been soaking up all the sights and sounds of Perth while you've been here, Harry?
Yeah, we've been trying to get around to it as much as possible. I haven't really spent too much time in Perth outside of football before this week, so a few of the WA boys that are from here have been showing us around.
Yeah.
What have you seen?
You got over to Roto, didn't you?
I didn't go. A few of the boys took Luke Urquhart, who's a draftee of ours. His family took a few boys out on the boat, and I unfortunately missed that one.
Oh, geez. What do you have to
his
do?
father, Tony's a ripping bloke. They're a good family.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to Sam as well. She's a champion.
Yeah, she is actually. Such a nice family. So that was really nice of them, and unfortunately missed that one. But just been around Fremantle. We're staying at the Esplanade, which is a really nice hotel, and loving the city of Fremantle. Been into Perth a few times. We've got our captain's run now at Optus Stadium, so hopefully a few fans show up to that. But it's been a great week, and the weather's been much better than Melbourne, that's for sure.
Was that the plan, to stay in Fremantle, really, because you're going to be playing Fremantle, to get under their skin and invade their territory and
good idea.
wee on all their trees like a dog does down at the park? Is that what you were doing?
Yeah, exactly. I
Territorial.
think that's exactly what we wanted to do, just rub it in their faces that we're here.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't have moved out of Freo.
Yeah, I know. That's on them.
Down in Coburn.
Exactly.
Yeah. Hey, Harry, I mean, you're plenty of cafes around in Freo. You've been frequently. Have you been able to go out for breakfast, lunch, or dinner around the place, or are you just doing your own thing at the hotel?
We eat mainly at the hotel, but we've had a few meals out. Most of the boys, we go for a walk and get coffee around, so there's a few good places near the hotel that we've enjoyed. And then we had a nice thing the other night at Stables in the city, which was great. And then, a few here and there where boys just go out and get their own meals or in little groups.
Now, I asked you that question because I've seen the podcast, and I know you've probably got a lot of people hitting you up about your diet in particular.
Yes.
And I was blown away, and I was showing my son how good's Harry at his
Because you're
food
very
intake.
disciplined, aren't you?
Yes. So how did you go? What did you order, and how precise are you when it comes to that stuff?
Yeah, it can get a little difficult when you're travelling because it's less in your control, and you have to eat out, so you're not cooking all your meals like I do at home. But I'm not as disciplined when I'm away. Like I try to be as much as possible, but I understand that if I'm too obsessed and with it all, it can be a bit hard, and I'm probably not eating enough food. So I make sure that I'm not as strict when I'm away because it's just too hard. And then when I'm around meals time, I'll go to the supermarket and stock up on things that I'd usually eat back home as well. So I make it work over here. But pretty disciplined with my diet, and I just enjoy it. Yeah.
Do you feel a bit like, because everyone's got that person in their life that, you go out for dinner, right? And
and they're like, I can't eat that, or we can't go there because I don't eat that. They don't have enough that's gluten-free. Yeah,
I'm going to have that, with that, without that, plus that.
I don't want to eat farmed animals. I've got one of those friends. So
are you over that
I'm
part?
a bit like that. The boys can get a bit frustrated. Not really, but they understand it now, which is good. They know what I usually do and don't eat, but sometimes they get into me about it.
What's an example of if you're ordering it to the waiter, you may have to say that would be frustrating for them?
Just like asking with like no sauces and stuff.
What about the oils?
Hating.
Harry, oils cooked in?
Yeah, so it's hard when I'm away. I don't go that far because I know it's too hard for the restaurants to change, but I think the club do a good job of, like, for the hotels, they give them a bit of a
heads up,
and a requirement of what we like as a club.
Rider.
Is this, Harry, is this just how you are naturally, or have you made a conscious decision that because you're a professional athlete, you're going to approach it and control as much as you can?
It's a bit of both.
Yeah.
I'm just generally interested in health and wellness as a whole, outside of being a footballer, but then obviously it's definitely beneficial as a footballer. It makes me feel good every day. And
so, like in the off-season, you're not chowing down on burgers and chips and stuff, are you?
No. Off-season's probably the other way I go, probably even more extreme.
More disciplined.
So I just love it. Like, it's not a chore or something that I have to, like, change who I am because of it, or, like, it's a real struggle. Like, I genuinely enjoy it. I enjoy cooking the food. I enjoy eating the foods that I do.
Good
that makes it a lot easier, yeah.
Do you think you can knock off Christian Petrarca in terms of being that icon of the culinary world?
Is that the dream?
I don't think I'm as good of a chef as him. He can do some pretty good things in the kitchen, but maybe I'll start sharing what I do.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
If you're going to invite us over for dinner and impress us with what you would cook, what would you make for us? My favourite and my go-to, and it's also my pre-game meal, is just a steak with sweet potato and veggies, just the standard. Yeah.
Solid.
Can't go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
Nah, we're all about that.
Good cut of steak, don't worry.
Now, you had a great performance down in against the West Coast Eagles on the weekend, and the reason why is because in the past you've probably let games like that slip away and you haven't been able to turn the momentum when it's been against you. West Coast Eagles had all the momentum. That's Nat's team. They had plenty of shots at goal that maybe they would have wished they had kicked.
What do you think?
Harry, you were able to, that last quarter, completely turn that game around, and you were a big part of that.
Yeah, it was a weird game because it was quite probably an ugly sort of game to watch, I'm sure.
Yes, it was, Harry. Ugly is the word.
Yeah, both teams' skill level probably wasn't at the best, which was weird because the conditions were beautiful in Bunbury and it's an amazing oval. But, yeah, exactly like you said, Shaun, I think it shows the maturity of our group compared to recent years that we were able to, despite not playing our best footy for most of the day, turn it on in that last quarter. And we've done a lot of work on that mindset side of the game. And we have a new leadership and mindset type coach in Kane Johnson, who's done a lot of work with us in that area.
Yep.
And we're definitely seeing improvement in that. We're nowhere near the level we think we can get to, but this year we've noticed, hopefully the whole AFL world have noticed that we're able to change the way we're playing in games due to our mindset, and now we just want to focus on doing that for 4 quarters.
Such an interesting thing. We are speaking to North Melbourne star Harry Sheezel,
Yes.
and I was watching a podcast recently of Caleb Sarong, and Ross Lyon used to say this back at Fremantle days when he was coaching. The fitness side of things, everyone's bucket is pretty much full.
Yes.
Like, we got athletes that are, what? they're
Yes,
free.
and everybody's
Yeah.
doing essentially the same thing. So
They are.
fitness isn't an
Yeah.
issue.
But the mental bucket is always a place that needs to be worked on and trained on just as much as anything else. And is that something you really put in time into? Clearly, at the club you are.
Yeah, 100%. I'm a massive believer on the mindset side of the game. I think it makes up for so much of our sport, and athletes around the world, I think, now are spending so much more time and even money on it. I've been doing a lot of research on athletes in America and over in Europe, soccer players, and mindset stuff is huge, like the way they're doing it consistently and building that into their routines. And I think that's just, if you're not doing that nowadays, you're falling behind.
Yeah, well, clearly,
brilliant.
I love how focused you are for a young player.
Yeah,
You know,
dedicated.
you're doing a really good. There's a reason you're the NAB Rising Star, obviously. You know,
Amongst
you-
others, like
yeah.
he's the star of the game.
Yeah, great talent and a real star of the future.
Thanks,
We're
guys.
going to be hearing your name for a long time, Harry Sheezel. It's a great name too,
Thank
by
you.
the
I really
way.
appreciate it.
Good on you, Harry. Well, good luck. On,
not too good a luck.
No, because you're against my team. So,
Yeah, and sorry for the fact that Shaun's been hanging around your training sessions down at East Freo Oval as well.
I saw Mickey Barlow down at
Yeah.
training yesterday. You're off the track
Yeah.
by then, Harry, but
He's the number one
That's my
ticket holder there. They can't get rid of him, you know.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Nah, thanks, Shaun. Thanks, Nat. Really appreciate it.
Good on you, buddy.
see you,
Great
buddy.
work, Harry Sheezel. Legend.
Sean Sport is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcast.com.au.
2 words, Revo Fitness. Here's a few more. Simple, 24/7, reformer Pilates, body scanners, massage chairs, squat racks, free weights, pin and plate loaded equipment, no lock-in contracts, no bullshit. All of that and more from just $9.69 a week. That's surprisingly affordable. Join now at Revo Fitness Woodville or download the Revo Fitness app, revofitness.com.au, or find the Revo Fitness app in the App Store.